fathers gave to our legislatures. They're the ones who are supposed to select the president, not the governors, not the Board of Elections. They're the ones who have the constitutional obligation to decide on the electors. So in Georgia, they're going to do that. Michigan is considering the same thing, and they're not quite as far along, but they're drafting something right now, and so is Arizona. So those three are three in which they could very well end up in front of the legislature to decide who the electors are. Wisconsin is a lawsuit where Wisconsin has a very strict absentee ballot, and it basically says if you don't have an application for the ballot doesn't count. And there are some 50 or 60,000 ballots without applications. They would have to be thrown out, and that would change the election.
So
that's where we are
you said
right
that
now.
you said you found serious issues with processing of ballots, absentee ballots in Wisconsin.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, what you had in Wisconsin is the same thing that you had every place else, except they have this additional law where you have to have an application. They excluded Republican poll watchers from watching absentee ballots being counted and mail-in ballots being counted. They exclude Republican poll watchers from the polls. They engage in backdating ballots. Several witnesses testified that they were trained how to backdate ballots. They registered people who weren't registered under different names. Each one of them has, in one degree or another, almost the same pattern of activity, one a little bit more than others. This was a pattern that was set by somebody in Washington because everybody else carried it out exactly in the same way. And they did it in the crooked cities. They didn't do it everywhere. They did it in Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, in Detroit, in Milwaukee, in Atlanta. They went to places where there's a lot of corruption, and the courts are not exactly the fairest. Let's put it that way.
So you think somebody in Washington directed this and directed the big cities in the big swing states to do these tweaks, whether it is the processing of ballots incorrectly or harvesting ballots, etc. Who did this? I mean, that would suggest this is organized, developed. Who is in charge? Who directed this then?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know who is in charge of it. All I can tell you is it looks like a very well planned, very well executed situation. For example,